Hey everyone, welcome into our latest TDR Cannabis in 5 presented by Dutchie. I am your host, Shad Dales. Happy long weekend and happy Labor Day to all of our fans out there. And if there's any parents, best of luck to all of your kids heading off to school tomorrow as fall is finally here. We've got a big week ahead in cannabis with Washington remaining the focal point, with markets waiting to see if President Trump follows through on his August 11th comments about rescheduling. We're going to check in on the trading action as well with MSOS and the top operators, and take a look at hemp policy as Congress returns, and we'll expand on what's happening in Texas now that a new vape ban is officially in effect. Plus, there's important news out of PA, where adult use legalization again is gaining traction, becoming somewhat complicated. Don't forget, this upcoming Wednesday at 4 o'clock, Michael Bronstein, president of Attach, will join us to break it all down. So let's get started as we prep you for the upcoming week, because this is the latest TDR Cannabis in 5 presented by Dutchie. Let's first begin and rewind the clock back to August 11th, where President Trump said he would be making a decision on cannabis rescheduling in the next few weeks. We're now in week 3 since those remarks, and the industry is watching every move. You don't say. If an announcement comes, it could be through an executive order, or it could flow through the agencies like the DOJ or the DEA. However it's delivered, the market is poised to react. But here's the reality. Rescheduling is not legalization. It won't create interstate commerce. It won't open up banking access, but it will remove the restrictions of the IRS Code 280E, which prevents cannabis businesses from taking normal deductions. That means immediate tax relief and stronger cash flow, so everyone is watching. And here's the big picture. Cannabis stocks have already been performing well over the past month. If an announcement lands, it could ignite a further rally, fueling momentum that's been building steadily. So while rescheduling won't fix everything, it could send a strong signal and drive this sector into another gear. So from Washington now to Wall Street, let's turn our attention to the markets. The MSOS ETF is still the bellwether for U.S. cannabis stocks, and the action we saw Friday just shows how headline-driven this space really is. Back last Friday on the 29th, MSOS opened at 572, reached a high of 577, then dropped all the way to 518 and closed at 557. More than 20 million shares traded hands. So that's what traders call a gap and fill session. Buyers showed up early, sellers controlled the middle of the day, and dip buyers definitely defended late. So key levels to watch this week. You've got to look at support at $5. If that shelf breaks on strong selling, the mid-4s could be in play. Then you've got resistance at $5.77, then $6. A close above $6 of volume could open up path towards $7. The takeaway is simple. If Washington delivers news, expect MSOS to gap higher. If silence continues, watch for fatigue and a drift back towards $5. Full disclosure, I am a shareholder of MSOS. Let's now zoom in on the 4 names that drive MSOS. You've got Curaleaf, Green Thumb Industries, Trulieve, and Verano. First up, Curaleaf. It closed at $330 after swinging between $364 and $310 last week. That wide range signals indecision. Trulieve ended at $880, still holding higher lows unless $840 breaks. In GTI, it closed at $869. Sellers capped it at $9. Watch if the high 8s hold. Finally, Verano. It finished at $1.70, but bulls need that level to form a base. The key point here, MSOS won't sustain a breakout unless at least 2 of these 4 names move higher together on strong volume. If leadership rotates day by day, it's harder for momentum to stick. So keep your eye on that as to how that develops this week. Let's now head back to Washington, where lawmakers return from recess this week. Hemp policy is back in the spotlight. In the House, lawmakers advanced language last month that would have effectively banned hemp-derived cannabinoids. In the Senate, though, Rand Paul, he fought back, and the language was stripped. Senator Paul also introduced the Hemp Act, which would raise the THC threshold for hemp to 1%, giving farmers more room to operate. Meanwhile, Senator Mitch McConnell, a longtime hemp supporter, is negotiating a middle ground. So this week, the debate resumes. The House could push for stricter limits again, while the Senate presses compromise. As we know, the stakes are high. A strict ban, we know, would crush many hemp businesses, while a compromise would give the industry some breathing room. So all eyes on Senator Paul and Senator McConnell this week as they return from summer recess. Let's now head south to Texas, because something very real just changed, in case you didn't know. Effective today, September 1, a new law, SB 2024, has gone into effect, banning the sale of all hemp-derived vape products containing cannabinoids. That includes THC vapes, Delta-8, and other hemp-derived cannabinoids in vape form. So here's how it works. Retailers cannot legally sell these products anymore. Marketing them is also prohibited, and violations are considered a Class A misdemeanor, carrying fines and potential jail time. Consumers are not criminalized, though, for possession, but the retail market is effectively shut down as of today. So this is a major development. Texas is one of the largest consumer markets for hemp-derived vape products. So overnight, that entire category has been eliminated at the retail level. So more importantly, what does that mean for the industry? For hemp retailers, this is a direct revenue hit. Stores that leaned on vape sales will feel it immediately. For MSOs, the impact is more indirect. They're not selling these products in Texas, but investor sentiment is shaped by the broader narrative. A state that is large cracking down signals where other conservative legislatures might head next. We all know the effect that Texas could have. So for consumers, the legal options are shrinking, which could push more activity back into the unregulated market. That's just the reality. And remember, SB 6, the broader ban on all intoxicating hemp products, is still sitting in the House. If that moves forward later this fall, it would extend restrictions well beyond vapes. So for now, though the story is clear, as of this week, Texas retailers can no longer sell cannabinoid vapes of any kind. The plot thickens in the Lone Star State. Let's now move to PA. I know a lot of you have been expressing some concerns and frustrations of how this is becoming a little bit frustrating because of the standoff in the Senate right now, something we've seen for many years in the state Senate in Pennsylvania. Budget talks will continue, and adult use cannabis is definitely back in the conversation. So the state Senate has been actively debating proposals, as we know, to legalize adult use. Discussions have centered around tax rates, licensing structures, and enforcement models. So if you're new to this, why does Pennsylvania matter? Well, it's because it's the 5th most populous state in the country with a strong medical program already in place. Transitioning to adult use would create billions in potential revenue and make Pennsylvania one of the most important new markets in the U.S. We need new markets. So when you look at operators like Trulieve and Dutchie, both which are heavily invested in the state, this could be a transformative catalyst for both companies and a lot of other companies as well. And a quick reminder, we're going to go deeper this Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Michael Bronstein, president of Attach, will join us once again on the latest TDR Trade to Black podcast presented by Dutchie. So mark it in your calendars this Wednesday on the live stream at 4 p.m. He'll give us the latest news on what's happening in Harrisburg, so make sure you join us in on the conversation. So to recap everything for this week, what are the possible outcomes over these next few days? Here's what you need to be watching. Scenario 1, let's say a decision is announced. If President Trump moves forward, expect cannabis stocks to gap up higher. MSOS could test $6 and beyond, and with the sector already trading upward, this could ignite a further rally. Then you've got scenario 2, which is no news. If Washington stays quiet, buyer fatigue is possible. MSOS could drift towards $5. The question will be whether support holds or fails. Then you got scenario 3, which is mixed headlines. Hints from Trump, renewed hemp debates in Congress, the Texas vape ban, and movement in PA. As we know, that creates chop. Leadership rotates daily, and traders will need to stay nimble. So a lot of moving parts here. So here's the takeaway as we start this new week tomorrow morning. Washington, as we know, is the main event. Investors are waiting to see if President Trump follows through on his August 11th comments. As I said before, if rescheduling is announced, it won't legalize cannabis or fix banking, but it could ignite a further rally after a strong month that we just saw. MSOS has clear levels, $5 support, and $6 resistance. Those are the markers to watch. As far as the big four, Curaleaf, Trulieve, GTI, Verano, even Tilray, they must move together for momentum to stick. And Congress is back, and the hemp fight between Senator Rand Paul and Senator Mitch McConnell is going to set the tone. And keep all eyes on Texas as well, as the vape ban is now in effect. Retailers cannot sell cannabinoid vapes, and that's a major market shift. And as far as PA, more in-depth conversations with Bronstein this Wednesday at 4 o'clock. So that's it for this latest edition of the TDR Cannabis in 5. Again, hope you're all having a great Labor Day Monday, as many of you are gearing up for you and your kids ready for school tomorrow. So again, best of luck to them, and appreciate everybody for logging on here today and giving us support over these last few months. Man, are we growing. Hopefully we get the announcement that we want, but if we don't, I remind you, stay patient. There's a lot of progress that's being created and has been created over this summer, which has been a great sign for the cannabis industry. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and like I always say, stay open-minded, stay connected, and I'll see you next time in the latest TDR Cannabis in 5. And one last thing, leave your comments below. Let's keep this conversation going. Give this video a like, smash on that bell for all notifications, and share it with your network. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.